Salaki, give me 1 second. Shalom Malak Yahweh Shem Shabbat. Let's start. 2 seconds. I'm just looking for this one article. It's annoying because I just had it in my damn hand. Damn. I had it in my hand and then I got out of Instagram and I lost it. It was down a little bit. Man, so annoying. Wow, that is so annoying right now. Salaki, very. I'm so sorry. Ain't not but shit time. Fucking losing my shit. Um, like really? There's no way I lost it. Like I can't find this at all now. This shit is crazy as hell. That's wild. Anyway, let's just start off. Basically, go into what it was saying. Basically, the article was talking about how China wants to be exactly like America, right? Which we know they have always desired to be like America. They follow after America. They actually are always in competition with each other, right? As a matter of fact, before I start off and keep going, let me start off by saying Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahushai, Kol Haloim Lai Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem, Kakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the whole full elect scattered abroad. Akim and Akwata was listening, that's listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing, that the lesson is edifying. It's the brother Shuab Moab back at you with another lesson. Going into the title, all right, have always desired to be like thee, all right, basically going into Moab, which is into going into China. All right, and like I just said, basically the article it was not an article, it was an actual video that I can't seem to find all of a sudden. Um, it was basically going into how China, all right, thinks that they're actually next in line, all right, to rule, all right, and China is a very powerful, country, right? Right now, they see that America is basically declining, all right, and that they have an advantage to actually rise as they continue to decline. Okay, so it's annoying me right now. It really is annoying me right now. That I can't find this damn video. That shit is wild. Give me 1 second, real quick. Again, let me just make sure I'm not passing right by it. Um, this one. No, it's not that one. I'm gonna play this one though, because I had a couple of videos, but the main one that I want is I just can't find it. I don't know where it went. Um, and that's the main one I wanted because the way they were speaking was perfect with what I was about to bring out. That's just so corny right now. How the hell did I lose this video? I should already. It was at the top of my whole entire thing. That's what I don't understand. Um, you're gonna have to give me. I'm gonna have to actually. Shalom Malak Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Barakatah. Very aggravated right now. Juicy, go over there. All right, let's just take it from the so right now. Hello, let's take it from this video right here.
Trump's Beijing visit was not about peace. This was America's biggest business and geopolitical damage control mission, landing in China. He arrived with some of America's biggest business giants, top CEOs, tech leaders, and powerful corporate names. And before the meeting, the whole world thought this summit would main focus on Iran, Taiwan, global conflict, and the Strait of Hormuz crisis. People expected pressure on China. People expected Trump to directly confront Xi Jinping on Taiwan. But then, China made its position crystal clear. Taiwan is China's sovereignty. No interference, no negotiation. And what shocked analysts the most was Trump's silence. When reporters directly asked him about Taiwan, he gave no reply, not even a single statement. And that silence changed the entire tone of the summit, because many believed America wanted China's help to stabilize global tensions, especially after the Iran conflict pushed oil markets into uncertainty. The Strait of Hormuz became one of the world's biggest pressure points. And yes, China absolutely has influence over Iran. China is Iran's biggest economic partner. It buys sanctioned oil. So many expected China to help calm the situation. But here's the real geopolitical twist. China also understands something very important. As long as global tensions continue, America carries the burden. And strategically, that weakens the United States over time. So the summit was never just about peace. It was also about power. And this explains why Trump arrived with America's top business delegation. Because beyond geopolitics, there was another major objective: business. The U.S. economy is facing pressure. Elections are approaching. And Trump understands that stabilizing trade with China could help American markets, big corporations, and investor confidence. China also dominates.
And to be honest, the only reason that they will try to stabilize, agreements is because, see, China is more advanced than America. Going back to how they always wanted to be like America, but now they're actually more advanced than America. If you ever want to see what will be the state of America, all you have to do is look at what China's going through right now, because America's pretty much following after what China already has established. They have the social credit system, right? They have a form of digital ID already being pulled out, which eventually, again, is going to turn into, you know, that RFID. All right. They need their advanced technology, all right, to be able to use it here in America. Remember, everything, Shalom, Sister Yahweh, everything that is here in America comes from China. It's all made in China. You see, it's all made somewhere, somewhere down the line from, you know, China, Japan, Taiwan. You got all these different international countries that pretty much support us. All right. So in a weird way, China doesn't want to deal with them, but because China's on the rise, they will still continue to deal somehow, some way. But at the same time, watching the decline of America, they actually like that America's declining, because at the same time, all right, that brings them up to the rise. And like I said, you have powerhouses like Russia, China, that think they're actually next in line to rule, okay? Especially China, all right? But the fact of the matter is that Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is about to bring his wrath upon all nations, his indignation upon all the nations around the world, all right? The only one that is going to rule next is Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, right? Because the Lord said Esau's the end of the world and Jacob's the beginning of it that follow it. So that already tells you that it has to end with Esau being in rulership, no other nation, right? So, you know, going against what I was saying, they're going to have certain type of agreements, but they pretty much hate each other, okay? If you think that China actually likes America, they definitely don't, all right? Because look what America has going into DJ Trump. Basically, he has pushed the global economy collapse, all right, to usher in his NWO, all right? And that global collapse is hurting all these other economies internationally. You see, they're trying to take out Iran, but Iran is a powerhouse onto to China, you see, so they won't allow that. All right, that's why at the end of the day, all these other nations will eventually conspire against America, because it's basically like saying America on the Western Hemisphere is trying to take over the whole entire Eastern Hemisphere when there's already powerhouses on that side, you see. So none of those other nations on that side will ever allow America to take over the Eastern Hemisphere, you see. But see, the Lord has Esau in that strong delusion, all right, to believe that they're going to be able to just, you know, take over the world, all right, and it's not going to work in their favor at the end of the day.
Critical materials needed for modern electronics, and in the middle of all this,
see, this is what I mean. This is why they will have to continually deal with America somehow, some way, because everything that we have from electronics definitely comes from China, you know, even down to a lot of the food source that we get, a lot of the clothing we get, you know, all of that is used out there. It comes from China. Okay, as a matter of fact, here in America, one of the biggest things that China uses, that America uses from China is they have their Shein. All right, they got Shein for women, Shein for men. All right, that's a clothing website, man. All right, and a lot of people here in America use those websites to buy from. You see, so that's why America's always been a cash cow onto China. Okay, and as a matter of fact, now that I even mentioned Shein, right now you have China being sued, all right, for that clothing line, all right, from Shein, because a lot of the material that they're getting from that website is coming back that it has nothing but chemicals all over it, all right? So at the end of the day, they're really in cahoots with, you know, these Illuminati top banking families, you know, to basically help push the agenda of depopulation, you know, to destroy our people. Okay, again, even though these nations hate each other, all right, they are also in cahoots with a lot that's going on with depopulation and poisoning our people. You see, it's just that within time, all right, of America just being so extra greedy and being, you know, extra prideful, all right, the Lord will turn their backs, make them turn their backs on America, you know, because that's just how the Lord has it pretty much set up. At the end of the day, yeah, very bad to the skin. Yeah, that shit is crazy. I just seen a video on that. I was like, damn, And I have certain things that I actually order from there. They got pretty decent clothing for men, but yeah, it's pretty much low frequency fabrics, man. You know, they're giving you 2% cotton with 98% polyester and shit. You know, when you really break down that the ingredients that they use to make the products that they use to make the clothing, it goes back to a lot of plastic, crazy ass plastic. I don't know how they make it, how they do it, but it's a lot of plastic that they're using that's very harmful to the skin and poisonous to our bodies. You know, and then when you put it on and you sweat and your pores are opened up, all of that shit, you know, has forever chemicals in it, and it goes into your skin, man. You know, we're really supposed to be dressed in fine linen, you know, high vibrational clothing. All right, but hey, because we're dealing with these other nations, they doing all types of crazy things to our products, man. All right, and that's pretty much how all these nations around the world benefit off of us. Because who are the ones they sell it to? To us, the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. And if it wasn't for us, they would have no company. They would have no, you know, they wouldn't be able to prosper in their companies, man. Because we're the majority of the world. We're innumerable. So this is where they make all their money off of us, man.
Calm, confident, almost as if Beijing knew. Time is slowly shifting global power in its favor. But in the end, Taiwan remained untouched, Hormuz remained unresolved, and the silence from Trump said more than words ever could. Trump's Beijing visit.
And like I said, right now, Trump is at they see that he's weak right now. All right, so these nations are able to take over. Okay, let me see. Let me grab another video I had here. Where's it at? Gotta go down a little bit. Give me 1 second.
Breaking fucking news. We are now getting to.
No, that's not it.
White-Town Highway.
No, that's not it. In the process, I'm still trying to look at that. I'm trying to look for that other movie. I mean, the other video. All right, check this one out.
U.S. News tonight. Apparently, Xi Jinping, the Chinese president, said that the United States was a, quote, declining nation. No one knew about this comment, but Donald Trump took it upon himself to put out a Truth Social post to say that Xi Jinping did say that, but that he was referring to the Biden years, not the Trump years. This is a real Truth Social post from Trump. He could have stayed silent, and no one would have known Xi Jinping said this comment because it wasn't reported at all. But Trump says, quote, while President Xi was very elegantly referred to the United States as perhaps being a declining nation, he was referring to the tremendous damage we suffered during the 4 years of sleepy Joe Biden and the Biden administration. And on that score, he was 100% correct. He was on to say President Xi was not referring to the incredible rise of the United States as displayed during the 16 spectacular months of the Trump administration. No one knew Xi said that comment. No one knew in what context Xi said that comment. Trump could have kept his mouth shut, let the comment go, and moved on. But no, he had to put out a Truth Social post, draw attention to it, and blame Joe Biden. Follow for more. Wait.
Yeah, and pretty much what you got right now is you just got people blaming each other for the nonsense, all right, of what's happening to America. Because America's collapsing, man. So now they're just trying to put all these different, they're trying to point the fingers of why this place is collapsing, right? Oh, it's because of Joe Biden. No, it's because of Trump. No, it's because of this one. At the end of the day, all right, it wouldn't even matter, all right? It's collapsing because it's prophecy, all right? According to Isaiah, the 19th chapter, as the scripture says, all right, Egypt shall fail, all right, which we are spiritually known as Sodom and Egypt, all right? So everything here, all right, is going to collapse, whether they like it or not. It's not even because of Joe Biden. It's not because of Donald Trump, all right? It's not because of a certain, you know, move they made or, you know, because of the war. It's because the Lord wants this place to be destroyed, man. Wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, all right? Their sins have reached onto the heavens, right? You have the angels, the eyes of the Lord is upon the sinful kingdom, beholding the good and the evil. So they have been recording all these years, all these decades, centuries, whatever you want to call it, man. And wickedness is just beyond, you know, what it's ever been. So it's time for this place to actually go down, you see. Let's grab this video.
My read has been
Oh, perfect. Look, that's the spirit. The water Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. I just found that video.
They believe they will be the world's most powerful country.
Second.
I read has been what I think has been for a while, and that is China has a plan. And they clearly view themselves, they believe they will be the world's most powerful country. They'll surpass the United States, and they have a plan to do it. And they're executing on that plan, and I don't blame them. I mean, if I were the Chinese government, I'd have the same plan. We, on the other hand, don't view it that way, and we don't want to see anything. We're not trying to constrain China, but their rise cannot come at our expense. Their rise cannot come at our fall. So there's an area where we're just going to have a difference of opinion. But my view of them and of the government in China is they're very confident. They have a plan, and they're trying to execute on that plan, which is fine. I understand that from a nation-state perspective. But when that plan is in conflict with the national interest of the United States, we need to do what's right for the United States. And that'll come up on this trip. But more importantly, that'll be a feature of this relationship for a long time.
And see, what's going to happen is eventually the pride of Esau's heart is going to try to take over everything. Instead of making agreement, all right, we know that these devils are not good with agreements. They're covenant breakers, man. They make an agreement, and then next thing you know, they go behind your back and go against the agreement that they made. All right. See, the smart thing will be is, all right, let's take over. Let's cause an agreement for our economy to be able to, continue and be without problems and, survive basically. But Esau, because he wants to have everything in the palm of his hand, all right, he will say, forget the agreement, all right, and I'll just go to war with these people, man. All right. See, World War III is coming. All right. And World War III is coming against America, against the rest of the world is what it's going to come down to at the end of the day. All right. America and Israel going against the whole entire world is what it's going to come down to. Because it's Bible prophecy, one, and two, because America, again, is just such a greedy country. All right. And thinks that they cannot be touched. Right. It's, as a matter of fact, let me grab that real quick. This is Isaiah 47, because this is the mentality of America. All right, that they can't be touched, that they can't, they can't be brought down to the ground. Right? This is Isaiah 47, and I'll just go straight to the point. It says 7, and thou hast said, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou did not lay these things to thine heart, neither did remember the latter end of it. Therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that say in thine heart, I am and none else beside me. And that's the main thing, man, that they think that no one could be at their level. See, they were that powerhouse around the world when they dropped that atomic bomb on, Nagasaki, Hiroshima, all of that, right? So ever since that time, they've been thinking this whole entire time that they're going to be able to pretty much do that again to any country that tries to deal with them, not understanding that the Lord through prophecy has made those that are weak. Now they say, I am strong now, right? That's Joel, the 3rd chapter, right? 9 on down. So the weak is now saying, I am strong. Why? Because the Lord has put the spirit in these other kings to bring back that spirit of war. Not only that, knowledge is being increased both on the right-hand side and on the left-hand side. So the Lord has increased the knowledge of all these different types of modern-day scientists, man. It ain't just the scientists of America, okay? The Lord said, let's grab that real quick since I'm in Isaiah 54, right? And what is that? 54 and 7, 16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy. You see, and we know that Esau is the top one, all right, that has brought all this chaos of violence upon the world, all right. But because they were that powerhouse at one point, the Lord also put the spirit on these other smiths, modern day scientists, all right, to be able to create the same exact type of weaponry, man. So now every single country is showing their teeth to America, while all these nations were once weak and now are being made stronger America that was once strong is being made weaker, all right, through their philosophies, through their, their ways of wickedness, man. Okay, they have like it's something about wickedness that the more wickedness you push out, all right, the more low vibration you'll actually become. You see, that's why the scriptures talk about how the earth is getting weaker in age. All right, because look who's ruling it, the wicked. All right, so the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, and as it continues to be polluted with wickedness and multiply with wickedness, it actually becomes weaker through age, man. You see, so not saying that these other nations weren't weak, that weren't wicked either. They are wicked because they have drank the wine of the philosophies of Babylon the Great. Okay, but remember, America, Esau, Edom is the main one that's going to be taken out of the way. All these other nations are going to go to captivity, and they're going to go back after 1,000 years to their rightful lands. But Esau himself is going to serve captivity for 1,000 years, and then he's going to be completely disintegrated off of planet Earth. You see? So the Lord, through the Spirit, has been making him weaker and weaker and making these other nations stronger to be able to come together and take them out of the way. And then eventually the Lord will take them out of the way. You see? Because at the end of the day, the Lord is, again, the indignation of the Lord is upon all the heathens around the world, as it tells you in what is that, Obadiah 1:15. Okay, so it's crazy how the Lord works, basically, man. He has grabbed the bases of men that are nobody, that are children of fools, more violent than the earth, and he has put them to be in power. All right, but now he's stripping them from his power little by little. It's like he's chopping them down limb limb by limb, arm by arm. That he taking down the ankles first, he taking down the knees, then he taking down the legs. Now he's taking off your arms, now he's taking off your torso, all the way till he basically takes that damn head off, man. You see? So the Lord is just cruel the way he do things, man. He has put you in that strong delusion to make you think that you are going to rule forever. As the scripture said, the inward thoughts is that the houses shall continue forever. All right, that's a delusion. How is it that your houses are going to continue forever when all other empires that thought the same way eventually fell anyway? You see? So that's what the Lord is doing right now. He is breaking them down little by little, piece by piece, all right, and taking away his power, stripping him from his power. And at the same time that he's stripping him from his power, he's actually increasing us and our power. The so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, Indian, starting with the elect. Okay, so continuing on, right? Let's go back to Isaiah 47:8. It says, therefore hear now this, thou that are given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children, but these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. You see, that's why they're becoming weaker and weaker. All right, even though they have brainwashed the masses with their enchantments, their sorceries. When you really look at movies of warlocks and witches, right? Warlocks and witches would do spells on people, but every time they put spells on people, they will get weak after a certain point because they're doing so much witchcraft and sorceries, man. It has to come with weakness at one point. They don't know how to reserve their power. They don't know how to reserve their energy, and that's what America's like. They've been hitting the world with so much, wine, philosophies, witchcraft, and sorceries that they have weakened themselves, man. Look, to the point where they have pushed this vibration of fagonometry upon the earth, right? You could be a whole faggot out here, man, and everything is all good, but that comes with a certain vibration that drains your spirit, man, because it's something that's not supposed to be done. So when you look at America's military, America's society, all right, just as the scriptures say, and let me grab that real quick to prove the point. All right. This is Ecclesiasticus 10:1, and it reads, a wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. So we're ran by what? A bunch of fucking homos and pedophiles, man. So the people here have become exactly that, and that has actually weakened them all the way down to their actual military might. Their military might is not as strong as the military might of Iran, right? It's not as strong as the military. They might have more in number, but they're not as strong military-wise, warrior-wise, you see? They're not as strong as Russia. They're not as strong as China, okay? They're not as strong as any of these militaries around the world. That's why the scriptures tell you in Jeremiah 51, right? Let me just grab it real quick. Jeremiah 51 and what is that? 30. 30. Yeah, 30. It says, thy mighty men of Babylon. See, there were once mighty men, right? Have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holds. Their might has failed. See, their might has failed. Why? Because of the low vibration of wickedness, witchcraft, and sorceries that you pushed upon America. It has now weakened the people of America. And because the earth is given into the hand of the wicked is weak as hell, man. There are a whole bunch of, like I said, a whole bunch of homos and pedos, man, that rule this whole entire society. Okay, they're only strong when they taking blood from our people and drinking and all that shit, right? And that's not even making them strong. That just make them look younger. It's just rituals that they're doing in the name of their power, Satan and all that, you know, to gain a certain power. But who's the one that rules Satan, man? Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. The demons tremble, you see? So all these people have forborne to fight because their mighty power has been taken away from them. All right. And now all these other nations have been revived with that war spirit. All right. To be able to, you know, pretty much become warriors to fight against America. And that's why you see, like, you'll go to China, you see kids at 8 years old breaking fucking cinder blocks on top of their head, while the average 8-year-old over here is fucking knitting, sewing and knitting, a whole man, you know, a whole boy, sewing on a damn dress onto himself, you see? So that's what I mean, that the actual, the power of might has been taken and stripped from them, and they have been turned into basically women. As a matter of fact, it tells you that right here. It says they became as women, you see? It says their might has failed, they became as women, and a woman is a weaker vessel. So that means they have become weak, all right? It says they have burned her dwelling places, her bars are broken, okay? So now let's go back to, let me grab this real quick. 14. This is, let's take it from, give me 1 second. I'm trying to see where I want to take it from. Let's take it from, this is Isaiah 14:4. It says that, let's take it from 3. It says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord Yahweh shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve, right? And that's talking about our people. Then it says that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how has the oppressor seized, the golden city seized? The Lord Yahweh has broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter and the scepter, Salakia, of the rulers. You see, and that's future. That's what's good. That's what's about to happen. The Lord is about to break, all right, the staff of the wicked. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindereth. You see, because America ruled over all these nations at one point, but now that has been taken away from them. Now these nations are starting to rule over them, you see? And you see a prime example with Iran. Iran is ruling over America right now, has them under control. Forget what the social media talk about. Forget about what this nigga telling you on live TV, that everything is all good, that we're doing good in the war, we're winning the war. That's bullshit. Okay, they're losing the war. All right. 9. Hell from beneath is moved to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. You see, and that's what I'm talking about. The Lord has woken up the chief ones of the earth, has woken up the spirit of war from all these other nations. Okay, all these nations at one point had great warriors in certain wars, man. Well, he has woken them up all together in these last days to come against America, Babylon the Great. It says it has raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations, and they shall say, and they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? The pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. Yeah, see, that's what is going to happen to America. The pride, the pomp of America is being brought low, okay, and eventually completely brought low to the point where they're going to be destroyed, okay? So let me grab this also. Going into that video, I'm going to play it one more time, all right?
Point I think has been for a while, and that is China has a plan. I mean, they clearly view themselves, they believe they will be the world's most powerful country. They'll surpass the United States, and they have a plan to do it. And they're executing on that plan, and I don't blame them. If I were the Chinese...
So see, they executing on that plan right now, and that's why in the first video I was saying, right, they were basically saying that Mr. Ping, right, was basically looking at Trump with confidence. Like he wasn't even bothered or worried about what the hell President Trump was talking about. Why? Because their thought is that they're going to be next to rule. Their thought is that while Trump is out there fighting, waging war on all these other nations, doing what he do, trying to steal people's natural resources, all of that, China has been making agreements with all these other nations, man. Between China and Russia, them two have been making all types of agreements with these little nations to be guards onto them, to help them with their economy, you see? And China being the top one right now, all right, that thinks that they're going to be next in line, all right, they're willing to help anybody as long as they're dealing with them, right, and not dealing with America. Same thing that came out of the mouth of Iran, same thing that came out of the mouth of Russia. They basically said, we'll deal with you guys if you don't deal with America, right? So now that leads me to this next part, right? This is 2nd Ezra, all right, because he said that they want to surpass America, all right, and that's biblical, right? This is 2nd Ezra 15 and 40. 46. It says, and thou Asia, that are partaker of the hope of Babylon. See, they want to surpass Babylon. They want to be just like Babylon. And thou Asia, that are partaker of the hope of Babylon, and are the glory, right? It says, hold on, I lost it real quick. This thing just moved. It says, and are thou glory of her person. Okay, yeah. Because when you look at America, I mean, when you look at China, they're just like America, but 10.0. They're way more advanced than America, so they have fallen into their glory, basically. Right? It says, woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her. Yeah, and they actually have pretty much surpassed them. When you go to see it, when you go see China, go look that shit up in Google. You know, how China builds their cities, how they build their infrastructures, how they got everything digitalized. You know, everything is just way too futuristic, man. Okay? So they have desired to be like America and actually surpassed America. The only thing they haven't surpassed completely in is in the power of ruling like America. Because America has what? Esau has the fatness of the earth, the blessing of the fatness of the earth. That's pretty much what China will wish to have, man, is the fatness of the earth, just like America does, man. Just like these Edomites do. All right, but not understanding that you're not next, which is going to tell you that in the next couple verses. The Lord's going to destroy them just like he's going to destroy America. All right, it says, woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers. You see? So that's exactly what America does. America glories in the lovers that they have. All these different nations that they went to bed with, as the scriptures say, right? They glorify in that. That's what made America be able to be great. That's what made America to say, I'm the greatest nation around the world. And there's no place like it. I'm Babylon the Great, basically. So they want to have that same potential of being able to glory in their lovers. You know, imagine China, you know, let's just say, I'm hypothetically speaking, you know, this is just being, you know, putting out there through the spirit. Imagine China was to beat America, right? You will no longer see America having the fatness of the earth, but you'll see China having all this shit here in America, right? If America was to rule, I mean, if China was to rule the rest of the world, you will go to Iran, you will have things of China in Iran. You will go to Russia, you will have things just like how you see America has the McDonald's in every damn place in the world. That's exactly how you will see China, basically. Whatever it is that they were, you know, they will have. And I'm just using that as an example. So they want to glorify themselves in that same type of manner. All right. So it says, hold on, lost it again. It says that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. You see? So America, right, has always glorified in their lovers, and their lovers have always desired to be just like America. That's why they come to America, to make themselves a better lifestyle, right? To make themselves money and go and send that money back to their countries. Well, China wants to do the same thing. Have the people, all right, follow after them. And then after they basically get them to follow, right, they will have them basically desiring to be just like China. That's what that's pretty much what they want the nations to do. Well, I want to be just like China. Look how they move. Look how they, and I've seen videos like that actually, man, where they were trying to say that China's so advanced in technology, so clean with certain things, and you know, that they were basically saying that the rest of the world, if they were to move like China, that the world will be a better place, man. You see? So that's just the mentality of Asia, man, of Moab, right? It says, thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. You see? So America's hated, all right, for the things, the witchcraft, the sorceries, the inventions they make, all right? Everything that they basically have created has been created to make you sin and be totally against Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. And the Lord hates that. So imagine how much the Lord hates Moab, all right, Asia, for following after the ways of America. That's why eventually, all right, they're going to be taken out of the way also. There ain't going to be no I'm next, right? It says, thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions. Therefore saith the Lord Yahweh, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. And does that not sound like the exact things that are going to be given to America, right? When you go into 2nd Ezra, going up a little bit, right? 15 and 5, it says, this is what's coming to America. Behold, saith the Lord Yahushua, I will bring plagues upon the world, right? The sword, famine, death, and destruction. You see? And this is what's coming to America. 11, it says, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt, which is America, with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that Yahweh shall bring upon it. You see? So now when you go down to Asia, it's saying the same exact thing. All right? It says, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood. We just read that. in Isaiah the 47th chapter, right? That in 2 days they're gonna have the loss of children and widowhood. You see, it says poverty. Yeah, so America is full of poverty. America's this great cash cow, right? Rich only for the elite. But when you really look at the state of America, it's always been in total incomplete poverty all around the world. Why? Because you have our people in it. All right. The ones that are living in poverty is the Israelites. It says famine, sword, and pestilence, man. The sword is coming to our people. Martial law troops being like madmen, sparing none, is going to come for us, right? Famine is coming for our people, right? Which is right around the corner. And pestilence, man. Sickness all over the place. That's why when you hear about pestilence, right, you hear about these variants, it always starts where? Right in China. There's always some bullshit that it starts in China first, and then eventually it comes and it gets spread to America, man. You see? So China is basically a representation of America, right? And what will happen also to them, just like America will get it, okay? So it says, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence to waste thy houses with destruction and death. You see? So they're not going to be able to rule next, man. All right? They're going to fall just like America. All right? The Lord's going to bring the same exact plagues that's being brought upon here in America. Babylon the Great, all right, is going to be given to them also, all right, because they have desire to be just like America, which the Lord pretty much hates, man. The Lord hates anybody that follows after the ways of America, all right? And that goes to show that the Lord hates the rest of these nations, man. See, here it is. The Lord said that thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works, right? And here it is. You got people trying to save these other nations, trying to make it, you know, trying to put it out like if these nations could be saved, man. The Lord hates every single one of these nations other than the nation of Israel, because that's his chosen generation, his royal priesthood, his peculiar treasure. The rest of these nations are nobodies, man. Okay? And damn sure Esau, Edom ain't nobody. All right? The Lord said, I have hated Esau and I have loved Jacob, man. All right? So let me play this more and more video I got, and then I'll pretty much close it out, which I pretty much already made the point. All right?
My read has been.
This is, where's it at? Second. Hold on, I know it's down a little bit. Yeah, it can't be that all the way down. I mean, I don't have to really bring it out because I already made the point. It's kind of repeating like what the second video had said. But just wanted to bring it out for notification. Man, I gotta start erasing some of these damn videos. I got so much videos saved up. Makes it hard for me to find these videos. Oh, right here.
China's president said something to Donald Trump yesterday that you may have missed, and it was an extremely aggressive statement about China's view that it is on the rise in America. China's president said something to Donald Trump yesterday that you may have missed, and it was an extremely aggressive statement about China's view that it is on the rise and America is declining. Let me explain. Xi Jinping made reference to something called the Thucydides trap. It's an obscure idea from American political science, and it seems like it might be an odd thing to come up between the leaders of two enormous and powerful countries, China and the United States. And the answer is it's Xi's way of expressing his belief that China's rise is inevitable and that the United States needs to accept, essentially, that Chinese power is going to surpass American power. And it's a way of warning that if America doesn't accept this, that war is borderline inevitable. The idea of the Thucydides trap comes from a scholar based in the United States named Graham Allison. And the basic idea, which comes from the Peloponnesian War fought many thousands of years ago between Athens and Sparta, that whenever a rising power, in the modern context China, confronts an established power, the United States, war is almost inevitable. And the reason why the Chinese leadership, and Xi in particular, likes the work of this scholar, Graham Allison, is because Allison argues that essentially the way to avoid the war is for the established power to accommodate the rise of the rising power. Again, in this case, China. Allison also had a piece just before the summit.
But we know that they're not going to accommodate them. We know that America's going to be too proudful to allow somebody to take their crown, basically. That's why eventually all these nations will come up against America and destroy it. They're all going to say, it's either we destroy America or we're going to have to sit here and pretty much have our economy, you know, collapse. We're going to have to fight with these nations and that nation, you see? So that's why the end game result has to be to take out America, you see?
Actually floating the idea that the United States might make concessions in its approach to Taiwan during the course of the summit. So you can see why Graham Allison is popular with Xi Jinping, and you can see why this Chinese leader is summoning the ideas and rhetoric of this American political scientist to make his case to an American president that China is rising, the United States is declining, and if the United States wants to avoid war, we need to accept those facts.
Like I said, it was basically saying the same thing, just in a little bit different manner, you know. But hey, man, it ain't looking good for America. It hasn't been for a long time. All right, this place has been collapsing little by little since 2020, man. All right, and every year getting worse and worse. Okay, and we're coming up by that 250-year mark. All right, of this place ruling. All right, and we know that empires don't go past 250 years. They all collapse around that time. So that can only mean one thing. It's inevitable that America will collapse. Okay, and we can't wait to see that. Right. Matter of fact, let's end it with that. This is Ecclesiasticus 25 and 9. Is it 9? 7. There be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that has joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. And that's what we're in the process of, man. We're in the process of seeing the fall of our enemy right in front of our faces, man. This is why the devil has to come down on you with great wrath, because he knows that he has but a short time. You see, he knows through scripture, through prophecy. We're talking about your top banking families. We're not talking about your regular Edomite that goes to the corner, to the liquor store in the corner, all right, to buy his damn pack of cigarettes, man. We're talking about the elites know exactly what time it is. The elites are afraid. That's why they're hiding in their bunkers and their caves, all right? And pretty much this is why he has to push the agenda faster than ever, because he has nothing but a short time, man. All right? So, hey, we're going to live to see the fall of our enemy, all right, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. So I'm going to leave it there through the spirit, Lord willing, that you will edify Salaki in the beginning. It took a little long to find that damn video. I got so many damn videos, and like I said, Salaki, I took like 7 minutes trying to look for that damn thing. The Lord even hit the chime on it, all right? But, hey, it got out through the spirit. So, Lord willing, that it was edifying. So with that being said, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Paul Haloyim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem, Bahakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who were well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful like the scattered abroad. Akim and Akwat that was listening in. Yahweh Lord willing that the lesson was edifying. To the next one, Shalom. Keep fighting the good fight of faith. You're doing as good soldiers of Yahushua. Your sister continue to learn the silence. Watch the true men of the Lord. And hey, a Bible ball soon, real soon. Shalom.